This is Chris, the old-ass retro gamer. Today I'm going to talk about my Sega Genesis collection, the games that I have managed to recollect so far since I decided to start collecting back in November 2013. Um, I know that I had decided to collect complete in box for all the games that I am collecting. And when it comes to the Sega Genesis, that is the easiest to do it for because nobody ever throws away those gigantic plastic boxes that the cartridges come in. Everywhere I go to pick up games, I never find loose. Well, they have loose cartridges, but the games I'm always looking for are always in box, and they're relatively cheap depending on what game you're looking for. The ones I've bought so far, I have never paid anything over $30, which is good because I'm not made of money, and yeah. So let's get into it. With first game, unfortunately. The Adventures of Mighty Max. Yeah, this game is pretty awful. The jumping, what the hell? Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, but I got that in a lot with a few other games. Uh, Luckily, it's followed up with Aladdin, which is one of the better movie licensed games. Usually, the Disney ones that came out for the Genesis are pretty damn good, and this one is pretty good too. I do prefer the Super Nintendo version though. Another game that proves that movie licensed games do not all blow. Case in point, Alien 3. This game has been one of my favorites since I was since I it originally came out. I guess that was back in like '92. I want to say. The music is really awesome and moody. The gameplay is fun. It's challenging. I know it doesn't follow the plot of the movie very well, but I don't care because honestly, a game where you are not able to have any firearms and are against one creature the entire time, yeah, it doesn't sound very exciting. So yeah, they had to change some things, but for the better because this game is pretty awesome, and I like the movie too. Animaniacs. This is actually pretty fun. I picked it up for $2.50 at a local store, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was not a piece of crap. It's actually pretty fun. Gameplay's pretty decent, and you have to switch between three different characters, kind of like the Lost Vikings. So it's a worthwhile game. It's pretty fun. The NBA Jam Arch Rivals. It's a pretty fun basketball game that has a lot of violence in it. You're punching each other out as you're running up and down the court. It's pretty fun, but like I said, it is no NBA Jam. Here's a game that is extremely divisive amongst gamers. Echo the Dolphin. Yeah, you either really like this game or you really hate it, and I'm one of those rare one percenters that is like right down the middle. I think there's stuff that's good in it. I think there's stuff that's bad in it. It's okay. I do prefer the Dreamcast version over the two Genesis ones and the Sega CD one, but that's just me. But it has some nice music and it's calming, but yeah, it does have some really stupid design choices that really annoy me. Eternal Champions. This was the fighting game that was going to make fighting games on the Genesis, it was going to make people pay attention. Unfortunately, the game is really, really slowly paced and the controls are kind of wonky. But, I mean, it took this to get to the amazing Sega CD version, which has a lot of really cool fatalities, and it's faster paced, and it's got the Senator in it. Have you seen that guy? That guy is amazing. But all in all, this is not too bad. One of my all-time favorite games, Flashback: The Quest for Identity. It's kind of like Prince of Persia with a sci-fi twist. I really like it. The animation's great. The gameplay is fun. It's really challenging. It's a keeper. I got this in a lot with that Adventures of Mighty Max crap. Hard driving. It's a driving game, apparently. I haven't played it yet. And then there's this. I always wanted to get this game when I was a kid. I just never ended up doing so. So when I saw a copy of it online, I kind of jumped at it because it was kind of like, oh my god, I'm going to finally get that game and have it in my collection, and now I completely regret it. Heavy Nova. This is one of the worst games I think I've ever played. It is fundamentally broken. The controls are terrible. It's everything that you do in this game. It's just the design choices are like, it's like, what were they thinking? I mean, it actually like angers me talking about it. That's how bad this game is. I'm actually pissed off that I paid for it. But then again, if you want to collect, you kind of got to get some shit in with the good stuff. Here's a game that doesn't get a lot of love. Last Battle is actually based on a Fist of the North Star game that came out for the Genesis in Japan or Hokuto no Ken, which I'm a big fan of. The animated movie is awesome, and the series wasn't bad either. But yeah, this game is pretty cool, even though they took all the violence out. But I mean, as it is, it's actually still not that bad, even though it was like a launch game. Here's the Genesis version of one of my favorite underrated games of all time, The Lawnmower Man. It's not nearly as good as the Sega or the Super Nintendo version. The graphics aren't nearly as good, and the music isn't nearly as good. And since the system can't do Mode 7, the first-person virtual scenes kind of suffer, but it's still the game at heart, and it's still fun. And I remember I beat this one, and I still have never beaten the Super Nintendo one because this one is just slightly easier. Here's a game everybody knows, The Lion King. Really, really hard and really, really short, but animation's good and it's fun. It's not bad. Maximum Carnage. Yes, the Spider-Man game, and I do have the red cartridge version, which is awesome. It's a real fun beat 'em up in the Marvel Universe. A lot of real cool character cameos and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Music by Green Jello before they had to change their name to Green Jelly. Yeah. Global Gladiators, the McDonald's tie-in game. This is like the sequel to McKids for the Nintendo. Other than the music by Tommy Tallarico, which is pretty cool, the game itself is just kind of it's a platformer that doesn't do anything spectacular. And then there's Mickey Mania, another Disney game. A lot of people really like this one. I'm not too fond of it. I just think it's kind of clunky and the platforming isn't very good. But, that's just me. Mortal Kombat. Yes, this one has the blood in it when compared to the Super Nintendo version. Therefore, it won this round. Blood. Here's Mortal Kombat 2. It has blood too. Uh-huh. And then there's Mortal Kombat 3. Blood. Okay, here's a game that I sought out specifically because I watched a lot of the other collector videos on YouTube, and one of the ones I like the most is Metal Jesus Rocks. His videos are actually a lot of fun to watch, and him and Drunken Master Paul were doing a video where they were playing a lot of shooters, and one of the ones they played was Philios, and I thought it looked really interesting. The mythological twist to the game really interested me a lot, and it's a top-down shooter, kind of like it plays a lot like Dragon Spirit for the Nintendo, but better. And it's a lot of fun, and it's really challenging. But here's a game that a lot of people talk up, Rocket Knight Adventures by Konami. They talk it up like it's the second coming, but I really don't understand why. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's nothing like mind-blowing. It's a platformer with a couple of cool design twists in it, but outside of that, it's just a standard platformer with a cutesy mascot that never really took off. But, I mean, it's fun and everything. It's just, I don't understand why everybody, sucks it off. I mean, it's not like I played it and I got a boner for no reason. Sonic Spinball. Everybody loves Sonic Spinball. It's a fun pinball game with Sonic. You get to beat the shit out of them with the paddles. Damn! Sonic and the Hedgehog. I don't need to talk about this, but just so you know, I did buy it for resale. Spider-Man and the X-Men, Arcade's Revenge. I used to have the Super Nintendo version back in the day, and I kept it even though the game wasn't all that great because I thought the music was amazing, and a couple of the levels are really fun to play. And you get to play as Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine's always been like one of my favorite X-Men. But the Genesis version isn't nearly as good. I mean, it is pretty much the exact same game. It's just the graphics and the music aren't nearly as good, and the play controls are a little bit different. Here's one of those games that people do use as an example as to why movie license games do usually suck. Stargate. Picked it up for about $2.50. It's not bad. It's designed by the same people that made Alien 3, so the game kind of plays almost the same. It's just with a little Stargate twist here and there. It's not bad. It's definitely not a great game by any means, but it's not bad. I'm not sorry I bought it. Not like freaking Heavy Nova. Just punching myself for that one. Star Trek The Next Generation, Echoes from the Past. I've always been a really big Star Trek fan, so one of my goals is to get all the Star Trek games for all the systems. I do prefer the Super Nintendo version of this game more because the music and the graphics are clearer and the controls are a little bit better. But the game is a little vague, and the adventure aspect of it is kind of like, what? And the bridge is just kind of confusing. But it's still, it's fun. It's not bad. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Street Fighter 2, the Special Champion Edition. Well, I do like the game. I do think this is like the weakest of all the Street Fighter 2 adaptations that ever came out. I like the Super Street Fighter 2 that came out for the Genesis, but this one is just, the controls just feel really loose and kind of goofy. I always have a hard time controlling this one. I mean, it's still Street Fighter, therefore it is awesome, but I do feel this is like the weakest of all the translations that ever came to the home consoles. I mean, I'd probably play like a Game Gear version over this one. Now, I'm not saying it's bad, it's just I never really... I like playing the Super Nintendo one more. But the Super Nintendo did not have Streets of Rage, which is pretty goddamn amazing. This is one of my favorite games. The music by Yuzo Koshiro is awesome, and it plays pretty amazingly. It's fun and challenging. I've beaten this I don't know how many times. Still looking for the sequels, even though Part 3 isn't really low on my list. I want a remake or at least another sequel. Tailspin. This is one of those Disney games that really does suck. This game is broken. It plays like ass. The controls are crap, the graphics are crap, the music makes me want to rip my ears off. It's just a really bad game all around. But then again, I got that for $2.52. So, T2, the arcade game, it makes me wish I had a Menacer and a TV that I could actually use the Menacer on. As it is, it's okay, but playing it with a controller, it just is not all that fun. And the graphics are kind of, but whatevs. Tasmania. Yeah, this is a fun Looney Tunes game. It controls really well, and it's fun to play. But you know, when it comes to these games, I think that Quackshot game that Donald Duck had for the Genesis. It's very similar. I like that a little bit more. This is another game I'm mad about. I was really excited because I had the Super Nintendo version back in the day, and the Super Nintendo version of this was amazing. It was like Street Fighter with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in it. So when I finally got around to picking up a copy of this, now I popped it in and oh my god, everything about this game is broken. The controls are terrible, the graphics and everything about it it is unplayable. It is that bad. I'm actually kind of mad that I spent like the $15, $16 on this that I did. Terminator, another game. Not all movie license games are bad. This is proof. This game is, even though it's really short, the music and the gameplay and everything about it is fun and challenging, and I mean, it feels like you're playing the Terminator. I mean, there's some really cool stuff going on in this. Unlike this piece of shit right here. T2 or Terminator 2, yeah, this is unplayable also. It's not as bad as Heavy Nova, but this game just is not fun to play at all. It's actually frustrating as all hell because, yeah, Acclaim, I don't get it. But then again, there is this, which is a complete diamond in the rough that nobody knows about. Todd's Adventures in Slime World. I had this for the Atari Lynx back in the day, and I played the shit out of it. It's a lot of fun. It's really challenging. The graphics and the music aren't all that, but it makes up for it in the gameplay. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend that everybody that has a Genesis should find a copy of this game immediately. It is a ton of fun. Toe Jam and Earl, Panic on Funkatron. It's a side-scroller instead of an adventure game like the first one was, but I'm not really complaining because it's still Toe Jam and Earl, so it's entertaining as all hell. I am really looking for a copy of this that is pretty inexpensive. There's one at a local store. They want like $45 for it in case, and I'm like, no. Vector Man, really cool platformer with another failed Sega mascot. There is a sequel to this. I do find that one more entertaining than this one because they fix a lot of the problems with this one, but this one is still entertaining as all hell. I highly recommend it. And X-Men. It's not nearly as good as the sequel, Clone Wars, but it'll do because it's X-Men, and it's not all that bad. It can't be as bad as the Nintendo version, can it? So that is my entire Genesis collection so far. I'm still on the lookout for more, and I will definitely pick up some more. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Give me a thumbs up or two. Let me know what you want to see in the show. If there's any changes you want me to make, anything you want to suggest, just throw it my way, and I will definitely take it into account. So I'm Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off.